Well, this is sudden. I wasn't expecting to do a video today, but something just caught my attention. Just a show of hands here. How many of you folks have heard of the series Parasite? Well, for those that don't know, it was a manga released in 1988 about a young man who gets infected with a parasite that takes over his right arm. And he has to use this parasite in his right arm to fight other people who've been taken over by other parasites to stop a worldwide invasion. So, pretty much the host, only not shit. It's a series I hold very dear to my heart, and for good reason. It's the very first manga I ever read as a child. It's also the very first manga I ever finished. Needless to say, I have a bit of nostalgia for the comic. So, when I heard about the anime adaptation, I was super excited. Sadly, the anime's problems become apparent as soon as it begins. The opening is some sort of terrible song that sounds like it's trying to be a mix of death metal and the shit kids listen to these days. Actually, most of the music in the show is pretty bad. The scene where Shinichi first discovers the infected dog is accompanied by fucking dubstep, of all things. Now, apparently the opening is done by the same band that did one of the endings for Hunter x Hunter, but I wouldn't know since I didn't give a shit to watch that show. One of the show's biggest and most important issues, at least so far, is that it jumbles around certain events. It decides to show us the parasite infecting Shinichi's right arm after we've already been introduced to him. Well, in the manga, the parasite entering his right arm is how we're introduced to him in the first place. Another thing that irks me is the change in art style. Like, okay, sure, Parasite's art wasn't top-notch. It's not on par with Kinnikuman or Gunsmith Cats in terms of art, but it was unique. It had its own flavor, and I could look at any page from the manga and instantly know what it is. When I first saw the anime, I thought it looked like any other anime made in the past 4 years. Shinichi has glasses now, and oddly he reminds me of a more grown-up version of the kid from Mahoromatic. Sadly, this is also a Madhouse anime, and let's just say they don't have the best track record. First, they did Trigun, which, okay, not terrible, but it's not a good series. Then they delivered the Marvel animes, which were all abominations that should be burned. All in all, it's a decent start to a series, and I'll be watching to see if it improves anytime soon. It's certainly not the worst I've seen all year, and not the worst I've even seen from Madhouse. If you like stuff like John Carpenter's The Thing, I highly suggest giving Parasite a read. The anime seems like it's going to be taking a while to get good.